All right, let's get right into it. Welcome into the Friday edition of In the Game. I am your host, Hustle. And as always, we are diving right into the crypto gaming, NFT, and Metaverse markets today, as there's a lot going on from ApeCoin to the week in gaming that we just had that's super impactful and the eyes it'll bring from Dr. Disrespect getting involved in a lot of other key news pieces and narratives coming to the light this week with some emerging blockchains, and we'll talk about that. But on top of that, we have some major events next week on the heels of the 7 days that we've just had in the NFT gaming space. Things are pushing forward. We have the Avalanche Summit. We have the Game Developer Conference. So we'll talk about all that and more, and the things to look out for next week, as there's going to be a ton of blockchain, metaverse, and NFT gaming progressions at both of these events. And I'm very, very excited for the things to come that could be revealed in the next 7 days. So without further ado, let's get in the game.
T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
If you ain't here to hustle, why is you here? But if you here to hustle, the moon is near. It's crypto Banter, not financial advice. If you don't listen, what's the cost, what's the price? This ain't a game, put you on game. I know you gon' play, but ain't a percent. If you ain't here to hustle, why is you here? But if you here to hustle, the moon is near. It's crypto Banter, not financial advice. If you don't listen, what's the cost, what's the price? This ain't a game, put you on game. I know you gon' play, but ain't a play. If you get lost, show you the way.
And we have some big news to start, as this was announced yesterday, kind of off the heels of Q4 results for GameStop. As we see, GameStop's plan is to actually launch their upcoming NFT marketplace in integration with the IMX blockchain. If you remember, they received a massive token grant, which they did proceed to dump. Not the best look initially, but I do think GameStop is another one of those bridges that could bring a lot of Web 2 gamers to the NFT gaming space and actually see, oh, wait, I could actually make money off the weapons that I'm earning, or the attachments, or the sword, or whatever the case may be in whatever game you have under the GameStop marketplace. So I'm looking forward to this integration, and Cointelegraph at least details a little bit. In Q4, they suffered a net loss of $147 million in Q4, but they are building a bare bones NFT website from the middle of 2021 forward that is partnered with Immutable X. And ending on January 29th, as part of the Q4 results, they did reveal that they intend to launch the marketplace at the end of Q2 2022. This is big, and it's just, think about the nostalgia, right? There will be maybe a lot of potential gamers and eyes on this platform when this does come across, and especially in the crypto gaming space. And, you know, it's a Web 2 company coming into the space, but I don't see this as centralization as much as another institution like Meta getting involved, for example. I don't see GameStop near as centralized as a Meta, for example. So I think that, you know, if GameStop's marketplace at the end of the day brings something to the table of value for gamers, or a quality NFT game with an asset marketplace, it's going to be a home run. So I'm really looking forward to the future of the GameStop NFT marketplace. On top of that, we are actually seeing what I just mentioned, Meta. We're seeing Meta being sued by Australian regulators for misleading scam crypto ads. I thought this was super interesting, as, you know, they're trying to push the metaverse space forward, and we're seeing Facebook parent Meta knowingly publish misleading crypto ads designed to scam users by leveraging well-known public figures. Very interesting. Not the best start. We've seen a lot of, you know, I wouldn't even call it FUD. I would just, we've seen a lot of, you know, backlash on Meta and their plans to roll out the metaverse and their concept, if it's going to be the one that sticks long term. And I don't think it's going to be, and I don't think their version of the metaverse is the picture that we all see it to be. And we definitely don't want it to be as centralized as Meta. And this just goes above and beyond that, right? They're already, you know, people fight all their lives to keep their company away from a crypto scam, and here they find themselves in a crypto ad scam immediately. Not the best look for Meta, you know, and it's just stringing the bad publicity together for Zuckerberg and Meta. And honestly, keep it decentralized, keep your metaverses Web3. I think that's the way to go anyway. Now let's talk a little bit about ApeCoin. ApeCoin's been on an absolute tear for the last, honestly, 12 hours. They held a space last night. Obviously, we see the Coinbase listing. It's basically listed on every single exchange out there under the sun now. Coinbase, KuCoin, Gate.io, Binance. It's got insane trading volume. I'll refresh here so we get the latest trading volume. Trading volume of $8.7 billion in the last 24 hours. And as we're seeing here, this is actually pretty normal like activity. And I'll pull up another chart, just an example. You know, it really dips here off the launch, and now it's ripping. And now it's going to probably slowly dip more until it finds a level footing, right? Until it finds a level footing, because $13 billion valuation, despite what the Bored Apes have done culturally and what they brought to the NFT space and the collections that they've built from Bored Apes, Mutant Apes, Bored Ape Kennel Club, and the community and the loyalty that they've built with the Bored Ape community. I do think that, you know, this will end up valued at a multi-billion-dollar valuation. It's just a matter of finding where it's going to settle. And I would definitely, you know, wait on this still. I would not be buying at $13. I just would not be buying at $13. I didn't buy at $7. I didn't buy overnight. You know, it really, if you look here, it started ripping again. I'll take a look. About 9-10 p.m. last night, they held a Twitter Spaces for the ApeCoin DAO. Yatsu from Animoca Brands. They had a lot of other key players from the ApeCoin DAO. And as you see here, the integrated game for the ApeCoin sold out in 2 minutes. The Benji Bananas membership pass. I definitely expected this to immediately sell out. And I told people that this would probably be dictated by Bored Ape holders. And I think it was like, there was like 5,000, or there was like a few thousand items, and there was only a few hundred holders the last time I checked. So it was definitely well dominated in that respect, or bot dominated, one of the two. But the membership pass already reached 1,000 ETH in trading volume, and I think it's like a 0.3 ETH floor now for the Benji Bananas pass. 0.3 ETH. And this is the membership pass to get in the first game that will be integrated with the ApeCoin, if you don't know what that is. And then I do want to highlight this because shout out, you know, there's been a lot of weird stuff on Twitter and back and forths between people who didn't get airdrops or people who are jealous because the apes just got, you know, a $100,000 plus potential airdrop. And if you held multiple of them, I mean, you just basically are able to retire from your job and move on to the next step of your life, right? But let's just take a look in general, the level of investment that the whole collection was, right? If you add up the value that Yuga Labs has airdropped to Bored Ape holders, it makes minting an ape one of the greatest investments of all time. It's a 1,898x Ethereum return, ETH return, and 2,100x USD return. So as you see here, the Bored Ape mint was 0.08. The current price is 91 Ethereum, guys. So the value here, you know, they did not price in some cash grab, right? They did it completely right. They built this thing from the ground up, and they've swept culture. They have partnerships with Adidas coming around the corner, with the exclusive merch, with the Adidas in the Metaverse collection. They have so much around the corner, partnerships with the Animoca brands. So I'm really interested to see where this settles. And then a couple of funny tweets. Got to bring in the comedy. Unsure how Ape is going to do. That's why I sold my Ape for 1.5 Ethereum 6 months ago. And then we see Greg, which is hilarious on Twitter. Did I had put my entire net worth, $38 into ApeCoin today at $40? Yes. Should I have waited 30 more seconds and bought it at $10 instead? Probably. But one ApeCoin is one ApeCoin, and I'm not worried at all. So I really love the back and forth sentiment on Twitter has been great. So good to see some comedy as well. And definitely not as high of a valued airdrop, but shout out to Crypto Unicorns, an upcoming play to earn game that I've talked about on the channel. They actually just did an airdrop out to land and unicorn holders to reward long-term holders up to this point. And they just announced that the first stage of their game is going to announce or release in early April. So I'm really looking forward to that. And shout out to the Crypto Unicorns team with a nice airdrop out to loyal holders and long-term. It was like an algorithm that based in how long you've held it, and that's how much you received. So shout out to Crypto Unicorns. On the heel of the ApeCoin, this definitely wasn't as lucrative as the ApeCoin, but they did drop mad value for their holders today. So very good for Crypto Unicorns. And I'm looking forward to that launch at the beginning of April. I do have some land plots and a unicorn, so we'll see how that plays out. And it's getting a lot of institutional interest. They just raised $25 million in one of their seed rounds, for example. And then I want to take a look at a game that's coming out on Ultra. Ultra will be launching this game. It is called Emitters. So Emitters will be on Ultra's platform, just one of another quality game that will be on the distribution Steam of the blockchain gaming in Ultra. It's a first-person shooter. This really looks like a blend of like Halo with the mechanics, along with like an Apex Legends, or like it's got a weird but very dynamic, unique vibe to it in terms of the movement. It's got a blend of a few games. It kind of reminds me of Halo and Apex Legends combined. And this Emitters game looks great, and that will be on Ultra's platform. And then Vulcan Forge just released their tower defense game. And if you don't know, like Bloons Tower Defense is so popular, guys. This is on Android now, so you can actually, if you have Android, you can actually download this now and start playing the Vulcan Tower Defense. And everyone knows how to play tower defense. You're setting up your arsenal. The enemies start rolling through and your towers are trying to take them out. As the enemies leak through, that's when you begin to lose the round. So Vulcan Forge did just release this on an Android. I unfortunately don't have an Android, but if anyone does have an Android device, definitely try this out and let me know how the Vulcan Tower Defense plays on Twitter. Now let's talk about a little drama, and then we'll talk about the big week in gaming ahead. So there was a little bit of a back and forth on Twitter yesterday as we saw Axie Esports kind of criticizing Veracity as they see that we felt the action was necessary to remove the Galaxy Cup tournament series from the Axie Esports grant. As they say, the subsidiary Veracity is being used as their broadcast platform, and upon further investigation, they found significant discrepancies in the broadcast data provided to us after the first Galaxy Cup last year, which I find hard to believe because Veracity's concept is proof of view, like their whole concept is to prevent any sort of, like, how would I say, fabrication of views. The proof of view, the proof of ad technology is to prevent any sort of fabrication on views, right? So our investigation has concluded that the Vera Esports platform does not provide sufficient tooling or transparency around live broadcast data to be eligible for inclusion to be endorsed by Axie Infinity. And we have subsequently updated the terms for all tournaments under the grant that the major broadcasting platform must provide transparent broadcast data, such as concurrent viewer counts, minutes, and unique views. Well, on the back end of that, Veracity says it's come to our attention that they've removed the Galaxy Cup from the Axie Esports grant. The claims that they have made were without foundation, wholly incorrect, disingenuous. We have escalated the claims with legal counsel as they say they had actually never requested the information. They never requested this information from Veracity. Additionally, we have no business relationship with Axie Infinity, Axie Esports, or Sky Mavis. We have a business relationship with the gaming company, the organizer of the Galaxy 22 Cup. As well, we do have the data for all of this that shows live broadcast data for this event, such as concurrent viewer count, minutes, and viewers. So pretty back and forth backlash on Twitter here. Regardless of this development, we are still broadcasting the Cup as our partnership remains active. And we would like to take the opportunity that our broadcast agreement was always with the Galaxy Cup and not Axie Infinity. And we are investigating this matter further. So an interesting back and forth here on Twitter. And we see the Galaxy Cup and Axie Esports Axie tournament itself, its own event that's hosted every year. They hosted their first annual event last year. We fully stand behind Veracity Esports and will be providing our full cooperation and assisting the investigation being carried out. So I don't know what the real discrepancy is here, but I would have to assume that Axie or Veracity, there was a discrepancy in what Axie would have liked to see the viewer numbers and what Veracity maybe provided as the real viewer numbers because of their technology, which verifies fake views. You can't send bots on Veracity's technology. So I'm not going to take any sides here, but I think the Veracity's technology is probably pretty bulletproof to fabricate viewers, and I can't see how their platform would have messed this up in any sort of way. That's just my take on the situation, of course. And this is the gaming company. And as you see, the Galaxy Cup, it'll definitely still be going on. It just won't be an official Axie Infinity event. And let's get into the big week of gaming ahead. And it's really on the heels of a massive week in gaming, guys. We had Dr. Disrespect with a 6 million cumulative following on Twitter and YouTube, coming into the NFT gaming space with his new AAA gaming studio with NFT integration, which is Midnight Society. And it's free to sign up, and you get a chance at the exclusive 10K drop. I would definitely recommend just signing up, completing some of the tasks on midnightsociety.com, because I think this is going to be massive. Dr. Disrespect's drop. And of course, ApeCoin. So the last 5 to 7 days have been absolutely massive for the crypto gaming and the NFT space in general. And crypto gaming goes along with the ApeCoin as well, with Animoca Brands. But now coming up in the next 7 days, we have 2 massive events that I think you should definitely have on your radar, have on your calendars. And I believe you will definitely have live streams for Avalanche Summit. From what I've seen, there will be live streams available to watch for free internationally. But on top of that, I don't know about the Game Dev Conference, but I know the Avalanche Summit you'll be able to watch on a stream. So definitely put this on your watch list for next week. The Avalanche Summit will be from the 22nd to the 27th. And I've been talking about how this is the most on the rise gaming blockchain. And it definitely has been, with all the adoption coming to the chain. Look how many reveals for gaming specifically will be at the Avalanche Summit next week. We have Crabada, which is probably going to be revealing their battle mode. So that's the leader in Avalanche gaming currently. We have Ascenders coming in with their gaming reveal. On top of that, we have Shrapnel, Domi Online, which is kind of like the RuneScape of the Avalanche blockchain. We have Wildlife Studios, which just moved in with 1 million active players, by the way. We'll talk about this. 1 million active players already with Wildlife Studios games. We have Ragnarok, Gunzilla Studios. So let's kind of take a look at some of the developments to expect this week. We'll probably get a nice reveal keynote of some sort from the Shrapnel team. So Shrapnel is building a AAA first-person shooter. And coming from my background, Call of Duty background, first-person shooter, that's where I like to make my hay in gaming. So I'm really looking forward to Shrapnel's game. And as you see here, they're hanging out with the godfather of the Metaverse, and that is Neal Stephenson. And if you know Neal Stephenson, he is a legend. He is the author of Snow Crash, and he is known as the godfather of the Metaverse. So you see the Shrapnel team kicking it here at South by Southwest with Neal Stephenson. Well, as we know, they will be there for a gaming reveal, Shrapnel. So I'm really looking forward to that. As well, we have Ascenders, which looks like a Fortnite-esque style graphic game, MMORPG open world, and they call it a Sci-Fantasy game instead of a sci-fi game. I kind of like that twist. And as you see here, something is brewing in Ascension, and we'll need everyone to be ready when the time comes. Join your fellow Ascenders and get ready for 3/22/22 at 4:15 CET. Well, as we know, that's the first day of the conference. So they have an announcement geared up for their community on the first day of the Avalanche Summit. That will be on 3/22. And if you haven't seen, the trailer looks absolutely amazing, guys. Like the gameplay, the visuals, and we'll see action sequences here with different characters and monsters and different attacks. This really looks amazing, and I can't wait to see more and the gaming reveal from them at the Avalanche Summit. So a lot of these quality games are choosing Avalanche because of their capabilities, the hundreds of thousands of transactions that not only process on the blockchain daily, but through one game currently in Crabada. If you look at their DApp radar, Crabada processes up to 300,000 transactions in 24 hours at sometimes. So you have to remember, the blockchain can handle a ton. And that's why projects the likes of Ascenders and the likes of Shrapnel are choosing Avalanche. On top of that, Avalanche is going to allow these tokens to take their own little network, their own liquidity, their own volume within their marketplaces, put it on a subnet where they can also utilize one of their own tokens as a gas token for any project that wants to go that route. So this is why Avalanche is being heavily adopted. We'll also see a project that's bridging over to Avalanche with their own blockchain, their own subnet, using the Jewel token as gas. We'll see DeFi Kingdoms as well at the Avalanche Summit. And then with Wildlife Studios, as I mentioned, a top 10 mobile gaming developer in the world joining the Avalanche ecosystem. How could you not be bullish on every single thing going on? And especially with all these reveals, these are all projects that have a keynote, have a speaker, have a reveal next week at the Avalanche Summit. And this is super bullish for the ecosystem. And, when I'm looking at the big picture here, I'm looking forward to 5, 6, 7 different projects within this ecosystem. And on one blockchain, there's just not a lot of times that does become the case, right? And Avalanche is cultivating this. Ava Labs, aka Ava Labs, is really behind making sure that these projects succeed and integrate with NFTs successfully. And if you take a look at the teams and the people behind these projects, I mean, Shrapnel's worked on AAA projects like Halo. They've worked on TV series like Westworld, Star Wars. So if you look at the quality that they're bringing in, not just any project is coming in that they're promoting here, right? These are actually very, very quality projects. And then Domi Online, some of these developers used to work on RuneScape in the past, for example, and blockchain MMORPG play to earn, no level or skill cap, former RuneScape game devs, and blockchain experts from Chain Guardians. And they do have advisors from Chain Guardians, and their team has very deep experience. They're fully doxed, open world MMORPG. This is what I was mentioning, that is basically the RuneScape of Avalanche. And this, obviously, these are just pre-alpha graphics, and this is just a trailer. But as you see here, this is the early integrated gameplay, the early integrated, what they call it, a HUD, a heads-up display with your inventory, the bottom line, the top left with your health bar, all that good stuff. So this will kind of be the World of Warcraft blended with the RuneScape of the Avalanche blockchain. I'm really looking forward to this project on top of every other development. And as I mentioned, fully doxed team, advisors that are co-founders for Chain Guardians, which is already an operating project and a successful project as well. We see Gunzilla Studios. Gunzilla Studios is not just one game, right? They're actually a studio that's going to be cultivating multiple titles down the line. Their team is also very, very experienced. So I'm just excited for everything going on at the Avalanche Summit next week. And I'm trying to open people's eyes to why I'm so bullish right now on what's going on Avalanche's blockchain, right? Because we're seeing, and I'll prove what I mean. Why are projects coming to Avalanche? Pretty simple. They see the transaction load that one game has. This is just one game, guys. Crabada. 320,000 transactions from one game. And I play this game. I go on mining missions. I probably do 15 to 20 transactions in this ecosystem every single day. And so I contribute to that number. And I can tell you the network is never really slow. Like, I never get Avalanche network issues. The gas can fluctuate at some points, but it's not really a big deal at the end of the day. And the fact that the blockchain can handle this much load from one project, you know the capability they could bring on from all of these different top tier projects. Do you think Avalanche is going to pump on the conference? I think it's already pumping. If you look at the 7-day chart, I definitely wouldn't be, I mean, if you're chasing pumps before a conference, this is not the time to do it. And I'll show you why. Because if you were looking to buy Avalanche before the conference hype, you would have bought it last week because it was $72. And then 1 month, if you look, we were at $66 on the 15th. So I would not be adding Avalanche at $83. I hold Avalanche, but I've been in since before the last bull run. So my price is much lower. So I would not be buying Avalanche, especially the fact that it's up $20 in 3 days. So that's a 33% gain in 3 days. So could I recommend to buy this leading up to the conference right now? No, but this is a quality layer 1 project. My problem is most projects actually dip a little bit after conferences because of this action. So I love Avalanche. I love everything they're doing, and I don't plan to sell my Avalanche. I'm looking forward to the gaming ecosystem the most. That's the emphasis here. We're looking at the gaming ecosystem, right? But historically speaking, Cardano dipped after their conference. And on top of that, Phantom dipped after their first conference. I think it was the Phantom Dev conference where they had like a hackathon. Phantom started to dip after that conference as well. So this is kind of potentially a buy the rumor, sell the news. So definitely don't be buying into that at this moment in time. And on top of that, guys, we have a bigger gaming event, I would say, in general. The world's biggest gaming projects and tech companies are going to be coming to San Francisco next week for the Game Developer Conference. We have Amazon, Intel, Meta, Microsoft, Unity, who does all the graphical capabilities for a lot of projects. And I will be boots on the ground here in San Francisco next week for the Game Developer Conference, which I'm super excited to get out there and just network with as many projects as possible. And we'll see a lot of projects out there. Web 3 and Web 2. As we'll see Ultra, they will be attending not only the DICE, but the Game Developer Conference 22 in San Francisco. We'll also see Phantasma. Phantasma will be exhibiting at the official Game Developer Conference in San Francisco. On top of that, they just got featured by Coinbase as a foundational protocol of the future of the metaverse. Phantasma, one of my favorite projects. The market cap's fully diluted too, which I love about if you're looking at their token. But on top of that, they're a layer 1 blockchain built specifically for gaming. And I know it's hard to see, but they listed a bunch of projects here for who's building the metaverse. This is by Coinbase. As we see here, protocols. They have Engine, Render, Phantasma. For organizations, they list games like Axie Infinity, Star Atlas, Aurora, Illuvium, DeFi Kingdoms, Gods Unchained. We see on the left side organizations such as Sandbox, Decentraland, Wild World. So we've talked about a majority of these projects right here on In the Game over the last couple of months, over the last 6 months, if you've been following my prior channel before I even joined Banter as well. So, we've been on more than 6 months at this point. So it's like for the gaming wave, if you caught on to the gaming niche early, then you really capitalize on that last bull run and on the last wave up. But now I do think this whole thing's reset. The next metaverse run and the next leg up for this sector of the market is going to come from conferences like this, where the Intels and the Metas are all in one place. They're all going to be wanting to show off impressive technology to kind of one up each other. And I think a place like the Game Developer Conference is where we could see some developments potentially, right, from an Amazon or from an Intel for some of the things they're doing with their metaverse. What if Mark Zuckerberg shows more of what they're doing with the metaverse and it actually looks good? Right. So when all with these big companies in one place, it's going to be almost a blank measuring competition. You can fill in the blank and you can know exactly what word goes in that blank. But that's what it really is going to be. And the future of this industry will be on display at the Game Developer Conference. The whole meta bull run hype, it's all reset now. We have a new opportunity whenever the market finds its footing. The metaverse is going to probably be that leader as we see the JP Morgans and the Microsoft CEOs coming to the light and saying that this industry will be a $9 trillion industry in the next 10 years. So we see the big players already narrating this. I think that next week we could probably have some juicy alpha that I can present from the conference and maybe some news from some of these big companies like the Microsofts on what they're building at the conference. And we'll see Vulcan Forged out there, so I hope to link up with them as well. And we'll see Amazon, as they say they want to be integrating great games to grow on Amazon. So that's an interesting development. We know Samsung is bringing NFT integration into their televisions. So they're going to be there. They're going to be also integrating foldable devices using game engines like Unity and Unreal. Join Samsung and Unity at this year's Game Developer Conference. So if you're really serious about this space, and if you're ears to the wall, right, and you are looking for the next moves, pay attention to what the big corps are doing. Try to be in on everything you can listen to. Listen to the Avalanche Summit live stream. Get as much info from people at the Game Dev Conference. Try to keep up to date in the space, because the more sharp you are and ready that you are, we're all ready for this, right? So now anyone watching this show, you're ready for if Amazon or if Intel or if Meta, Microsoft, this next week, if they display something new for the metaverse, this kicks us off into a brand new metaverse wave, metaverse hype. You're ready for it because of everything we've prepped you for here on this show, the entirety of the show, and everything in the past that we've built the foundation from the last bull run, the fall down. And the fall down has really been where we're finding the education on every single quality platform. We've been yielding play to earn earnings. When this market kicks back off and when these corps kick back off the metaverse wave, we'll be ready to utilize our capital in the best projects to ride up the next metaverse wave. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, guys. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more daily Monday through Friday, 1:30 Eastern in the game shows here on Crypto Banter. I'm going to get out of here. Like and subscribe for more. Till then, play well, my friends.
What?